Pete Iorizzo joins us here on the Monday Morning Edition. Pete is the columnist and also the sports editor for the Times-Union. Good morning, Pete.
Hey, good morning, Roger. How's it going?
I'm good, Pete. And let's just start. Were you up for the bitter end, or did you shut it off at 28-9 late in the third quarter?
No, I was in the newsroom helping put things together. I had to stay up for the end, and I'm glad I did. I don't think my wife did. She texted me around. She texted me when it was 28-3. She's not a huge football fan, and said, "Is this game over?" Do I have to stay up? And I was like,
yeah.
Well, it's definitely over. She said, "Okay, I'm going to bed." So I think she missed it. I
got to be honest with you. My wife has got morning radio at the crack of dawn, and she goes to bed. She gets up at 3:30 in the morning for her work. 3:30 in the morning, and she was still up at whatever time, 11 o'clock last night. And both my kids, who get up very early for school, Brady and Rachel, were both up. Trying to get them up this morning was a whole different story. But yeah, if you were up last night, you saw a thriller. What were your thoughts? I mean, how shocked were you? Did you ever think that Brady was going to lead this team back to 28-3, 28-9, couple minutes to go in the third quarter? What was going through your mind, Pete Iorizzo?
Yeah, no. At halftime, I certainly didn't think the game was over, but at 28-3, I thought it was just about over, just because so many things had to break in the Patriots' favor, but. It just seemed like for the third, I don't know what the final time of possession was, but it seemed like the Falcons had the ball for all of 45 seconds after the score was 28-3. It's just like it felt like the Patriots were just pretty much driving the ball at will, and the Falcons couldn't keep their offense on the field. And the one drive when they did, they ended up taking a sack and falling out of field goal range, which in some ways ended up being the biggest play of the game.
It was what, Zach, 40 minutes? Time of possession?
40 of the 63 minutes Patriots had the football. 40 of
the 63 minutes, so that's the number.
I'd be curious to know what the breakdown was in the second half in particular. It seemed like the Falcons never had the ball in the second half.
The Falcons could not stop Atlanta. Their defense just went away. I mean, you talk about just done, being gassed. Atlanta had no answers. And I shared the fourth quarter stats of Brady. Just in the fourth quarter, he was 16-21. Think about that. It's unreal.
Yeah, it was almost like watching a video game or something, the way he was operating in the third and fourth quarter.
Let me ask you this, Pete, because it's a question that Zach and I are asking our listeners here this morning. Will this Super Bowl 51 be remembered as like a gag, like a choke? The Atlanta Falcons. Do you think a Super Bowl 51? Oh, that was a Super Bowl Atlanta just choked, terrible, or will this be remembered as the epic comeback led by the great Tom Brady?
I think it's the latter because it's Brady and the Patriots. I think if it had been the other way around, if it was New England that was up 28-3 and then gave it away, then we'd always remember it as the one the Patriots gave away. But because it's Brady and because it's the Patriots, I do think we'll remember this one as one of the greatest comebacks ever, and frankly, deservedly so. I mean, the Falcons did an awful lot of things wrong in the second half, and I thought they managed the game just horribly in terms of trying to take any time at all off the clock with such a big lead, but you still have to give credit to the Patriots.
The other question that I like that I'm debating.
Said we're just going up and down the field, and the Falcons just had no answers.
No answers. No, they were gassed. I mean, Dan Quinn, the head coach, who did a really good job with Atlanta here, he said our team was gassed. He was honest about that answer. Was the Edelman catch greater in terms of the greatest catch in Super Bowl history? Because David Tyree, up until last night, if you were to ask most, they would have said the greatest catch in Super Bowl history was David Tyree of the Giants in Phoenix against New England. That great drive that Eli Manning engineered that year. Was Edelman's catch greater than Tyree's?
But the funny thing was that when I was watching a few minutes earlier, I thought Julio Jones' catch may have been greater than
Tyree's. That was another one,
and that'll end up being like the forgotten play. No one will ever talk about that years down the line because it turned out to be inconsequential.
And that was like when we watched that was the icer. Yeah. I mean, that iced the game potentially. But instead of running the football And Pete, you just referenced this play in an answer back. After that, instead of running the ball, they're in field goal range. They decide to throw it on 2nd and 3rd down, and then they get the big sack, loss of yards. You're out of field goal range. I mean, it's just sequence of events was absurd.
Yeah, and the thing was that the Falcons had run the ball pretty well, too. It's not like, you knew they were just going to be running the ball into the line 3 times and settling for a, 45-yard field goal or whatever it was. I mean, they were moving the ball pretty well on the ground. There was reason to think they would have picked up a few more yards there, and not to mention, taking another 2 minutes off the clock.
Well, it was some performance by Tom Brady, and I think we can all stop trying to debate. You agree, Pete, that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time? Some people will now say arguably the greatest player of all time, but certainly the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I would have leaned that way going into the game anyway, no matter what happened. But in my mind, at least, there's really no question now. To me, for my generation, he's there with Tiger Woods and LeBron James. And Wayne Gretzky is the greatest athlete in his sport that I can remember watching.
Pete Iorizzo reacting to the Super Bowl 51, and he joins us every Monday morning here on Big Board Sports. Pete, thanks for a few minutes. Have a great day. We'll talk to you down the road.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.